And good evening. First, I'd like to apologize for the flag being right on top of us when we turned around. I think it must have been nudged in vacuuming. Um, Summer's a busy time of year for our school system. We have a lot of projects going on, a lot of hiring being done, and to kind of recap some of that, our maintenance department has been staying on top of a number of projects, one being the new roof at Virginia High, and happy to report that the new roof section did very well in the very violent storm we had on the 4th of July. And so it stayed intact, and we had very minor leaks other places. We did have some bad luck turn good luck with the internet systems at Virginia High. We found that a lot of those systems, the internet cabling around the athletic wing had been kind of fried during that storm, but fortunately we had some equipment on hand to back that up, and that will be equipment that is already earmarked to be replaced when we get the new E-rate money in later this year. Maintenance department also reports that the HVAC units have been installed in the old gym. Those were purchased a few years ago with COVID money, but they are in place now, and we're just waiting on some add-ons for that. Right now, the system is calibrated to run a little bit faster than what it needs to, and so for that reason, it's going to be a little bit loud until we can get something to mitigate that a little bit. The gate at Virginia Primary School has been put in place. I had discussed with the SRO out there, the gate on the playground side comes to a point, but it didn't have any exit on the back. So in case of an emergency, we wanted to have an escape route for students and staff who were on the playground there. So we've installed the gate, and we're just working on getting a latch mechanism for that. The maintenance department has also been working on painting the overhang at Virginia Primary School, and this will now be the same dark copper that is on the facade or the fascia boards over at the new school. So those schools are in time going to look more and more similar. And we're working on a pond at the intermediate school. That should be camera ready by our August meeting. And the maintenance department hung in there, somewhat short-staffed for a lot of June and into the first part of July, but we have posted 3 positions to allow them to finish out the rest of the summer work and to make sure that we're hitting our targets for the return to school. With the technology department, our new Chief Technology Officer, Mr. Logan Childress, has hit the ground running, and he has already replaced or saw to the replacement of all the security cameras and additional 5 new cameras at Virginia Middle School. In the process of doing that, he removed between 600 and 700 pounds of old wiring. So just as promised, he said he was going to help us clean out some of the clutter, and so far, at least 600 pounds of wiring. He has upgraded cameras at the primary school, both indoor and outdoor, and at the parking lot area. We are working on the CTE gate at Virginia High. We have a new round of security grants coming up, and so that's going to be one of the things we take another stab at this year. And then also working on cameras at the high school, some updates and upgrades there, and some backups at Virginia Middle School. Ms. Sarah DeBusk was recently had a spot on the news to talk about the Santa Pal program that we do each December. So that's Santa Pal's pretty much a year-round venture at this point. Our new Chief Finance Officer, Ms. Heather Watson, some of her work is going to be on display a little bit later here, but Finance Department has been working right up to the last minutes here because the state budget, as you are aware, came in right at the wire. So Heather has been diligently working to make sure that everything is updated for payroll, and that's working hand in hand with Ms. Angel Hudson to make sure that our contracts all bear out the good news there. And I will say that part for the minutes when we get to the budget discussion and talk about what we were able to do for employees there. Mr. Harper in athletics has completed the VHSL membership, and Madam Chair, that is awaiting your signature tonight. And Mr. Harper also adds from the transportation hat that he wears, we should have one 65-passenger bus ready to arrive before the start of school. So we're in really good shape transportation-wise. From Dr. Denaberga, we are actively filling vacancies, and we have a lot of personnel maneuvers to talk about in closed session this evening. But we're very excited. By the time we meet again, we will have already brought in our new teachers. Can't believe that summer has gone by that quickly. But our new teachers report for duty on July 29th, and I'd like to invite the board to come to that breakfast. That will be here in the boardroom. We have breakfast that day, and then we're feeding them the whole time that they're here for the new teacher training. But we would like you to come by and meet them. That coincides with when we would normally have our principals meeting, so we're also going to have the principals in attendance for that to make sure that all new hires see all the people who are calling the shots, as it were. On August 3rd, we are going to have our convocation over at the high school, and the Bristol Brilliance Foundation has agreed to pay for our breakfast that morning and to help us serve that. So we should have a great day over at Virginia High on August 3rd. And then just one more thing that I think will come up later on your calendars. Our administrative retreat is scheduled for tomorrow and Wednesday. So we will take all the principals and directors and program directors and so forth. And we'll do a lot of the important work that we do over the summertime to lay the track for the upcoming year. And we'll turn around a week from today and do a similar retreat, albeit a shorter retreat with the board on January 20th. And that will also be here. One other regrettable note, we still do not have all the details right now, but it sounds as though our Southwest Health clinics the decision has been made to close those. So we'll be losing the clinic at the high school and the primary school. Still waiting on some official communication from the powers that be on their side. But that looks like it's going to be a pretty tough blow for our community. But I think that at the same time, it's beyond our control. So we are reaching out collectively, myself, Dr. Perigin, Dr. Haga in Smith County. We're going to be doing what we can to contact congressmen and so forth to see if we can affect any change there. But that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Sounds like you've had an awful lot of people helping you out, so I thank all of you people for our help. Moving on, next is public comment. Public comment is not a question and answer dialogue, but time for you to share your input. So when you approach, please state your name and address when you come to the podium so that one of us could reach out on behalf of the board. And you have a 3-minute time limit. And I have a card from Ms. Rhoda Blackwell. So Ms. Blackwell, if you'd like to come up to the podium.
Premature. Again, I'm Rhoda Blackwell. Nice to meet you all. I'm curious, and I do think the question's a little premature, but I hope that in the following months or meetings, I would love to hear feedback about how the summer program went this year. I don't know if you've had any feedback yet. I've heard some from parents and some teachers, and I just was curious if you all have.
Thank you, Ms. Blackwell. And
okay, thank you.
We will have somebody respond to you on that. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Next on the agenda is our consent agenda to act upon all of these things by the board in a single action. They include the approval of payment of bills, the approval of the minutes from our June 1st meeting, and the approval of the VSBA policy updates.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion with any of those at all? No. Right then, Ms. Hudson, would you call the roll, please, for the vote?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Next, we have several action items. Item 5A is the approval of the 2026-2027 school board meeting schedule.
Madam Chair, we typically select the first Monday of each month for our regularly scheduled board meetings. The exceptions to that are caused by if the preceding week has an interruption that prevents us from doing the planning that we would normally do for the meeting. That's why we have some of the dates have been set back a week. And then I think maybe as recently as 2 years ago, we listed out each of the third Mondays as a possible called meeting date. We now just cover that with a statement there, but we haven't needed many called meetings. But that would be the convention there. If we had to call a meeting, it would be the third Monday.
Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2026-2027 school board meeting calendar.
Second.
Okay, Ms. Hudson, would you call the roll for vote, please?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Item 5B is the approval of 2026-2027 budget revision number 1.
Ms. Hudson, would you mind opening? Okay. I know this is impossible to read, but I do want to make mention of a few revisions here and to make some comments on how impactful the final state budget has been. And I've just had probably less than 10 items to call attention to here, but line 18 is one that we're very much looking forward to. And on line 18, that is the compensation supplement. This has nearly doubled the money that was set aside for that based on from the Governor Youngkin's introduced bill in December. At the time, we had built our budget around a predicted 2% increase for all teachers, and I'm saying teachers is shorthand for all staff, but the 2% increase for teachers, that very fortunately through a lot of good lobbying on behalf of the teachers throughout the Commonwealth has resulted in a 4% increase for teachers. And so how Bristol, Virginia is going to approach that is to give every employee a step on his or her scale. That accounts for about 1.4% of that increase. And then we're going to take each scale, and at the midpoint of each scale, we increase that mid step by 3%. And when we get the cash value of that, we apply that to all steps so that all steps are growing at the same pace. And you don't end up with the top steps drifting farther away from the bottom steps. But we're going to do 3% there. So in total, the 1.4% for the step taken, and then the 3% increase, employees should have a 4.4% increase for the upcoming year. The state has also included language to say that that's going to be the same compensation increase for next year. So while we haven't determined exactly how we'll do that increase next year, the state budget does provide for a 4% increase this year and a 4% increase next year. Moving on to that, I do want to add that we also got almost $183,000 in special ed add-ons, which will be very beneficial for our programs. And then with supplemental lottery funds, we got about another almost $120,000, and that's money that will show up on the expense side of our budget in lottery funds that can be used for capital projects. In total, the increase to the city contribution from where we were is $313,435, and I've made City Manager Ms. Bradlin very aware of this change, and we've had good conversations about it. She was able to see it from as far away as we could, and I cannot speak for her or for City Council, but they're aware of that increase, and I think in good faith they're going to make sure that they do everything to meet the local match on that. Some of the key changes that we've been able to make, I know through board discussions in January, we talked about adding $10,000 to athletics for stipend adjustments so that we have a little bit of wiggle room. And then there's another $6,300 for the band to be able to add personnel as needed there. We have included at the board's request a 60-some thousand dollars for furniture that we will allocate out to the schools. Our intention is to have that rotate from one school to the next each year. I think that we'll be able to do more that way when we have a larger sum to apply to each school. And if you look closely at the revision, this is on line 165. We've added another $15,000 there, and this is for a weapons detection system to go at the front door at the high school where visitors would come in to the office. We already have the very nice Evolve systems that the students pass through each day, but this is an upgrade on the one that visitors would pass through. And then with the new funding level, we were basically able to double the amount of money that we had in our contingency fund. So that will be sitting at just north of $330,000. The contingency fund gives us the availability of funding to add a teacher if we need to, if there's programmatic changes or the need for another special ed teacher or need for another custodian or so forth. So we do have some room to meet needs as they change. Another noteworthy fact or part of this budget, if you look closely at the special services operational parts, this is around lines 234 through 239. We have discussed as a board some additional costs for students with special needs that are outside of our city limits, and so we've added the funding to meet those needs. Very excited about what we've been able to do for transportation. Ever since my very first time visiting a board meeting here in Bristol, I know that the bus drivers were among the first employees to talk to us about adding VRS and retirement benefits. And so we've been able to take a measure to make, Brad, is it 6 or is it 8? Six drivers, full-time drivers now, and have that contribute to their VRS. So we hope that in time we're able to make our whole core of drivers full-time as much as that is manageable and possible. And then per the board request, we have also added a new line for vehicle replacement. And what we're going to do in a future revision is we have money, $300,000 set aside for bus purchases, $75,000 set aside for vehicle replacement. This is a year where we're able to forego replacing one of the buses, and so we're going to apply that funding to additional white fleet vehicles that will, will not require CDL to drive. But I'm very pleased with where everything has come in with this budget, and I know that the task is now upon City Council to make sure that it all comes to fruition, but we are in very good shape.
Okay, then do I hear a motion?
Move that we approve budget revision number 1.
Second.
Any discussion about this?
So let me ask you, if we do 4.4 this year, so is it 8 over the biennium is what it would be? So you do 3.6 next year?
Actually, in the footnote on the distribution sheet that we got says that it's 4 this year and 4 next year. So I would imagine that as much as possible, we would apply the same methodology.
Okay. And I like that we're doing the median scale, and they all raised that much. We worked hard to get to that point.
And I've seen that, I've seen several different approaches to that in different localities, and this is, you're right, this is the best way. It's the most
Yeah.
equitable. It makes it a flat increase.
Because the top was getting, it just kept spreading out that way, and it's equitable for everyone that way. So, all right.
I just like to say I appreciate, took a while, but General Assembly and the governor finally got around to a budget, and I'm glad that they went above and beyond what we thought, and I appreciate the city council for their apparent willingness to step in and make everything whole on the local side. It's good that we're able to do that and compensate our employees as best we can. Even though they probably deserve more, we're doing as best as we can.
And I would be remiss if I didn't give a special thanks to Miss Heather Watson. It's has not been a normal budget year, and this being her first go round, it was a fine how do you do to get the budget on the last day of June.
Welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
It's so nice to be able to say we're adding to and keeping up.
Yes, ma'am.
Could be so much worse. All right then, Mrs. Hudson, would you call roll for the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 5C is the approval of contract purchase greater than $50,000 renewal of Palo Alto software.
Yes, ma'am. This is the software that helps us with cyber attacks and malware and so forth. This contract has been living right below the $50,000 threshold, and this year just crept right over it. But this is standard business for us.
So do I, did you have, would
I'll
you
ma-
want to ask a question?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Palo Alto software. I do have a question later.
I'll second.
Then do you want to
Um,
discuss then?
My question, and I understand we have to have this, but is there something in these softwares, some kind of guarantee or warranty in case something gets past them that infects our system and causes damage, or how does that work?
I'm going to ask Mr. Childress to make his way up to the podium and answer that, but I can tell you from the extreme backside of that with our VACO insurance, we do have cyber attack insurance there. But Mr. Childress is far more familiar with this on the front side than I am.
Hello, everyone. To answer your question, I believe that there is not anything included with this. This was a standing system that we have that was several years ago. I think it was actually close to $100,000 was spent on this piece of equipment. This is the software renewal, which comes with updated what they call definitions, so that if another one of these systems elsewhere, be it a school system or a company or whatever, sees something, they can push it out to us to immediately stop it. It stops, the idea of this is to stop anybody from being able to get in unless we allow that, or anything to get out that we don't want. But to answer your question, I am not aware of that. I think most of that is covered under some kind of cybersecurity insurance, either at a corporate level or through us through VACORP.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, then, Mrs. Hudson, would you call a roll for the vote?
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 5D, approval of contract purchase greater than $50,000 for the renewal of Munis accounting software.
This, again, is another contract that has been right below the $50,000 threshold for a while and has just pleasantly eclipsed that now,
Pleasant.
for lack of a better term. But Munis is it's the brains of all the accounting that we do, and I'd shudder to think if we didn't have it, how we would get our jobs done.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the contract purchase greater than $50,000, the renewal of the Munis accounting software for $53,329.60.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, Mrs. Hudson, once again, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Item 5E, approval of contract purchase greater than $50,000 for the purchase of one 65-passenger Thomas School bus.
This pretty straightforward one, a 65 passenger school bus.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the 65 passenger Thomas school bus.
Second.
Any other discussion?
I do have one question. Do you have any idea when you can anticipate that arriving?
This one should be arriving before the start of the school year. That's correct, Brad? Okay.
Okay.
I think we had a commitment letter prior to this.
Okay, Mrs. Hudson, would you call roll again?
Yes.
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 Yes. And 5F, approval of granting the superintendent permission to hire new employees between July the 14th and August the 3rd in consultation with the school board. We're going to
Make a motion.
make a motion. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve granting superintendent permission to hire new employees between July 14 and August 3rd.
Second.
Ms. Hudson, would you call roll for the vote, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, Mr. Hartley, would you move us then into closed session?
Pursuant to Section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following matters: discussion of certain personnel, recommendation for employment, and resignations.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, Mrs. Hudson, would you call roll again, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, we thank all of you for joining us this evening, and we will be moving into closed session.